Had to get my guy, Andrew J. Stoops, on the pod. He's got to be feeling pretty good. Arkansas has got a good team, number 16 in the most recent rankings, 3-0, 3-0 against the number. Andy, it's got to be good to be a hog today, and you've got arguably the game of the weekend coming into week 4.
Yeah, no, good to be back. Good to be back on the pod deal, but for sure, man. Arkansas, obviously, what a roller coaster from Bielema to Chad Morris, now to Sam Pittman, the hire that Paul Feinbaum basically just totally threw out. Right,
Yeah,
this was a hire. Yeah. This was a hire that was laughable to the entire sports community. Turns out, I mean, he is just heavens from above, bringing us back into really the CBS game of the week, right? When was Arkansas on the stage? This week we have it, 2:30, SEC game of the week against A&M. And we're excited. It's going to be a really, really fun game. A lot of people coming down. Neutral site game, and this is kind of one of those where you just throw it all out.
Right. I was going to say, first time away from home after you rolled Georgia Southern had to be so good. You were at that game, right, when you beat Texas? I mean, that Texas, the classic Sark game. How was that atmosphere?
So you and I were actually at, I want to say the last crowd of that size was back when we played Bama at home.
Right.
You, Brendan, of course, weekend for the books.
We snuck into the president's box, cut it up like a couple of donors.
Yeah, we were with the boosters watching Arkansas take the lead at half and really show some promise.
Yeah.
So that was the last game where a crowd like that magnitude had been in Donald W. Razorback Stadium. This game against Texas was electric, under the lights. One thing I will say about that game, though, that Sark team, they did not look good.
Right.
Every aspect of the game, they were awful. Special teams, block punts, offense, defense, couldn't get anything going. We rushed, I want to say 350, put up 350 rushing yards on them, 4 different running backs with touchdowns. I want to say that's where I'm hesitant, right? Like, how good is that Texas team? We'll see once they get into Big 12 play. I don't want Arkansas fans to get it was a huge win, right? That's a huge program. Yeah. That's a win we have not seen. You remember 2019, we were losing to San Jose State and Western Kentucky.
Right.
So to come out and beat Texas is huge. But we'll see really how good that win is over the next few weeks once Texas gets into the thick of things. I don't know how that program's going to be in Sark's first year.
Right.
He was rattled.
For sure.
But it was nice. It was nice. Arkansas fans, we are psyched.
On that note, what is your general feeling, or what was the reaction you had when you saw that Texas and Oklahoma are headed to the SEC, and what kind of rude awakening was that for Texas fans this past couple weeks ago?
So I think it's classic Texas, right? Like it's classic. We're going to do what we want. Who cares about the rest of the Big 12? We're going to get out. We're going to do what they think's best. I guess they think they were losing recruits to A&M, losing some of their stardom. Yeah. I think it's good for the conference that they'll be in. Obviously, they're a powerhouse program, but they're not going to be able to come in and call shots, right? Like the SEC's run out of Birmingham.
Yeah.
They're
the
just
CEO, Nick Saban.
Yeah, they're just another powerhouse program in the conference. Oh, I like Oklahoma. Nothing against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good for the conference, though. It's going to be funny because inevitably Texas is going to struggle, right? Like they're not going to come in and just dominate. Like they're going to have these 500 seasons regularly. With like we saw this year, they're up in the preseason polls. Oh, this is the year, and then they're going to flop. So it is what it is. I like that they'll be in because it's awesome when we beat them like we just did.
Right.
But yeah, I think they're in for a rude awakening.
It's the SEC, man. Like, I love your Razorbacks team this year, but the schedule you got coming up is the gauntlet.
Yeah, hardest schedule in the nation.
Oh
I think
my
third
God.
year. I think third year in a row.
Yeah, so you're hosting A&M, or rather a neutral site game, at Georgia, at Ole Miss, where Lane Kiffin's got them buzzing. Home against Auburn. Football Power Index actually has you winning that game, so that's what's interesting. But I've got some stats for you here, and then we'll get kind of your read on how you think the game's going to go. You mentioned the Arkansas run game. They're 8th in the nation in rushing yards. That's how you're going to have to attack this team because, yikes, Texas A&M is best in the country points per game allowed, 5.7. Now,
Yes.
Colorado looked pretty bad against Minnesota, but BC number 5. I just had to throw that in there. Just some good company. Iowa.
You got to plug BC, but yeah, like you said. So
how's this game going to go? I feel like it's going to be low scoring. Get this. It's the battle of all 3 unders in A&M and all 3 overs in Arkansas. What's got to give?
Exactly. No, it'll be interesting, right? So Arkansas, obviously 8th best run game in the country, going up against A&M, the best defense in the country. Honestly, like you said, we'll win it with the run. I don't know how true that is. I think A&M, I think they'll be ready, right?
Yeah.
Our O-line's a little banged up. I don't know I don't know if we're going to keep the streak alive, because if you're a run-heavy team, at some point the run's not going to be there. So I think it's going to come down to KJ hitting passes. He struggled. He showed signs of life in the second half of last game. But this year, man, he has not really been known to hit receivers in stride. He's overthrown balls. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Can our quarterback really open up the field and be able to pass the ball in the event that the run's not there? Because like you said, I mean, this is the best defense. If the run's not there, we're going to have to lean on the pass game, which we obviously haven't really done because we've been averaging well over 5 yards per carry. I think it's going to come down to our pass game. We will see. I mean, we're going to go with the run for sure. We're going to test it out. I don't know, though. I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain what we have been against this defense.
Right. You're going to have to make adjustments if it's not going your way. I was shocked. I was, doing the research for the stats, and it's like, you guys are a potent offense, over 40 yards per game. And your QB is 4 tutties, 2 picks. So he's just kind of been little game manager here and there. I mean, the yards per attempt are great, but the completion percentage, you definitely want to be a bit higher, especially against a team you can't make mistakes against.
Right. So I think that's the X factor. You have Zach Calzada, second string out of A&M, coming in, struggled against Colorado when he came in with a miracle. I mean, I won't say it was miracle. It was clutch. He came in, saved that game with a late pass, but prior to that, he struggled, right? And then you come out, you got New Mexico at home. Okay, he looked good against New Mexico. So this is this kid's first test. You know, you worry about kids similar to the Texas situation. Is the stage too big? You don't know. You don't know how Calzada is going to play. The whole country, it doesn't matter if you're in LA, if you're in New York, they're going to be watching on their TV at 2:30 on Saturday. Is this kid going to step up to the chance? Because you look at KJ Jefferson at Arkansas, he was ready. ESPN 6:30 under the lights against Texas. He came in and he showed out. So is Calzada on the A&M side going to be able to hit those throws? Is he going to be able to really make plays like he did when it really mattered against Colorado? Is he going to be able to do that against an Arkansas team that is fired up and is going to give you everything they have? I don't know. I think that's where the game sits, is kind of in Calzada's hands.
It's honestly the battle at quarterback play. I think it's going to be limit mistakes, maybe a little bit game manager, because I might give you the nod in better quarterback coming in. This guy's completing about 50%. He's got his share of interceptions.
He's nuts.
Yeah.
He's nuts. 6'4", 245. I mean, he's just a middle linebacker, tight end, just mowing guys over. He is an insane athlete. I'm excited. And like I said, I mean, he's performed on the big stage. So there's really no worries there. It's really his accuracy. But he'll be fine. He'll be fine. I'm more so interested in Calzada, the second string out of A&M. Is he going to show up? I mean, this is his time. This is it. Are you going to show up? Are you going to Zach Wilson? I don't know.
Andy Stoops will get you out of here with this 2 questions. 1, what's that crowd going to be like? Is it going to be pro anyway, pro Hogs, pro A&M, and a pick for the game?
Yeah, so crowd-wise, so I've been to A&M every year dating back to when I was in school, right? So the crowd itself is split. The way they sell tickets is half, and it'll fill up both sides. So as you know, neutral field, there's really it's loud. It's super loud, whether you're going offense, defense. The stadium's going nuts. the crowd I wouldn't say is any sort of advantage because as you know, Aggie fans are
Right. It'll be pretty
loyal.
split.
Yeah, or as loyal as anyone. I mean, it's just a short drive over from College Station. So, as for the crowd, it's just going to be an insane atmosphere, but really no edge to either team. As for the pick for the game, I gotta go with my Razorbacks, right? So we've lost the last 9. But guess what? Play them 10 times, they might win 9, but not Saturday. We're coming. I think it'll be close, right? I think this line Vegas has, most models I've seen got it around 2.5 in favor of A&M, so less than a field goal. With that, you got to take Arkansas with the points here. You look at 2018, A&M's favored by 20. A&M won by 7. 2019, A&M's favored by 23. A&M by 4. Mind you, 2019, that's the year Arkansas went 2-10 with losses to Western Kentucky and San Jose State. Right. 2020, last year, A&M favored by 14.5, win by 11, and keep in mind that was in College Station due to COVID. A&M has trouble covering this game. Arkansas shows up for whatever reason. I mean, this isn't some sort of historic rivalry, but we show up and we want to beat these guys, and I think this year we do it.
I love it. I took the points. I texted you as soon as the line came out, salivating. I'm like, victory.
Oh, yeah, 7.5. You got to hit that. And I think I texted you, and then I went to eat, and it was sneaking down 2 points. Yeah, and I thought the early money would come in on A&M. That's just totally exactly what didn't happen. That line's already down to 5. I don't know. I think it probably stops at 5, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think you have to take Arkansas. Just given the history, given the quarterback play, kind of what's going on with both teams, A&M's first real test. I think you have to go Arkansas. And again, I like Arkansas money line.
Love it. Yeah, I was going to say I'll be rooting for you guys this weekend, and we'll all be watching.